Welcome back. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating projects in the crypto space, the Internet Computer Protocol, or ICP. Now, I know the thought of ICP hitting the $100 mark might sound bold to some, but when I step back and really analyze the potential here, I can't help but imagine that such a scenario might not be as far-fetched as people think. So let's break it all down together. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a professional before making any investment decisions. First of all, let's talk about what really makes ICP stand out from the crowd. Unlike many blockchains that need third-party solutions to bridge Web2 and Web3, the Internet Computer claims to do this natively without relying on oracles. That's a big deal. To give some context, one of the main reasons Chainlink became such a cornerstone of the crypto industry is because of its decentralized oracle network. An oracle, in simple terms, is a tool that brings real-world, off-chain data into a blockchain environment. Many decentralized applications depend heavily on these external data feeds to function correctly. Chainlink capitalized on this necessity, which is why it rose to prominence so quickly. But ICP is positioning itself differently. It's essentially saying, we can connect Web2 and Web3 without needing that middle step. If this holds true, that's not just innovative, it's game-changing. Removing the reliance on oracles could streamline development, lower risks, and potentially increase the speed and efficiency of dApps built on ICP. But that's just scratching the surface. One of the latest innovations coming out of the ICP ecosystem is something called Caffeine AI, which has been described as the world's first self-driving apps platform. At first glance, it sounds like just another AI tool, but if you really think about it, it has massive implications. Most of us are familiar with using AI to ask questions and get responses, but what about AI that can actually help build applications? Imagine a future where developers can lean on AI not only to answer coding questions, but also to actively assist in designing, testing, and deploying decentralized applications. That's a step beyond anything we've seen so far, and even though it's early days, the concept alone shows just how forward-thinking ICP is. And it doesn't stop there. ICP has also been pushing boundaries in areas like Bitcoin DeFi. Yes, you heard that right, Bitcoin DeFi powered by ICP. The idea that Bitcoin, which is often criticized for lacking a vibrant DeFi ecosystem, can tap into decentralized finance through the Internet Computer is an exciting prospect. It extends Bitcoin's functionality while also showcasing ICP's role as a bridge builder in the crypto world. On top of that, we've also seen recent news about ICP integrating with Solana, which is another major step. Solana has been making waves for its speed and scalability, and having ICP interoperate with it just broadens the scope of what's possible across ecosystems. All of this adds to ICP's growing reputation as a project that isn't afraid to innovate and form key partnerships. Now, of course, it's important to acknowledge that ICP is not operating in an empty market. It faces stiff competition from Ethereum, Avalanche, Algorand, Solana, and many others. Each of these platforms has its own strengths and large communities. But what keeps me bullish on ICP is its unique approach and the scale of its vision. While others might lean heavily on marketing and retail hype, ICP feels a bit more understated, focusing on development, fundamentals, and utility rather than flashy campaigns. From a market perspective, ICP's capitalization is already quite large, and that brings both pros and cons. On the one hand, it means ICP is not a microcap moonshot where the chances of failure are high. On the other hand, because of its size, it's not going to deliver the same kind of astronomical gains that tiny tokens might, at least not overnight. But that's where the $100 price idea comes in. If ICP were to hit $100, given today's circulating supply, we'd be looking at a market cap of around $54 billion. Now, that sounds huge, but let's put it into perspective. That number would still be nearly $30 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. And Dogecoin, with all due respect, doesn't have anywhere near the same level of functionality or ecosystem potential as ICP. So the idea of ICP reaching that milestone doesn't feel unrealistic to me. It feels within the realm of possibility. Some might argue that a 20x return on ICP isn't as exciting as chasing microcaps, and I get that. But the truth is, for every microcap that explodes, dozens fizzle out completely. ICP strikes a balance. It's big enough to be considered reliable and fundamentally strong, but still small enough that meaningful upside remains if adoption continues to grow. Compare that with something like Ethereum or Bitcoin. If Ethereum hits $10,000, that's less than a 3x from here. If Bitcoin reaches $300,000, that's also under a 3x. Great returns, sure, but not the type of life-changing multiples that investors often dream of. ICP, on the other hand, sits in that sweet spot where growth is still exciting, but the project isn't a gamble on survival. At the end of the day, everything I've shared here is just my perspective. But when I weigh the innovations like Caffeine AI, the integrations with Bitcoin and Solana, and the possibility of Web2 Web3 connections without oracles, I can't help but feel that ICP has something special going on. So, to wrap it all up, while ICP does face competition from other smart contract platforms, its unique vision, impressive tech, and expanding ecosystem make it a project that deserves serious attention. Whether or not it reaches that $100 milestone in the future remains to be seen, but personally, I wouldn't find it disappointing if it did. In fact, I'd find it a natural outcome of all the innovation that's being built around it. So, what do you think about ICP's current position? Are you bullish on its growth in AI and DeFi? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value in this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay cautious, and I'll catch you in the next one.